Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Pam from Pam's Paws, and this is Bodie. Oh, watch your step, big guy. Bodie's a Bernedoodle, which is a cross between a Bernese mountain dog and a poodle. That's where he gets all his good looks, right, big guy? But boy, today we're gonna be transitioning Bodie into this new environment as far as the cottage. Don't you love this dog? Don't you smuggle him on the couch? What the hell we have this dog? So sit, paw, stay. All right, let's talk about communication. Because again, if the dog's not looking, they're not listening. We're gonna go to war in 3, 2, 1. When, let's say, we get out of a parking lot or a park or somebody's house, our instinct is to leave the premise of the car. And for dogs like Bodie, you don't see how he's using his nose right away. For dogs like him who don't give trust for free, letting him kind of perimeter around the car and not actually moving away allows him to be less stressed because it's the safety of the vehicle, because the vehicle is a predictable place. So if he stays around, see he's got to paw up a little bit. If he stays around the car will actually be an extension of his confidence. But if we move him away from the car immediately in an environment that he's not familiar with, you know, he could get nervous and things are happening and then we're not getting where he needs to be, right? So, like, I'm surprised that he's not like going away. You hear him doing a little bit of barks, little buffs. It's common for insecure dogs because he's trying to see if we are a threat. So if he buffs at us and we buff back, he's like, oh, I can't trust you. But if as an insecure dog, he's going, bah, bah, and none of us respond, he's like, okay, I can trust you guys. So he's getting a little bit closer and stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're kind of gonna wait, we're gonna wait for him to disengage from us because it's giving us too much attention. We're gonna wait for him to disengage with us and start engaging with his environment, start using his nose and stuff and figure out where he is. And then that's how we know he's ready to transition away from the car. And then we'll take him into the house and we'll do new home transitioning. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a lap around the cottage, let him kind of sniff, and then when we end up back in the spot again, we'll take him inside. Oh, let's go, big guy. Boy. So we're about to teach Bodie a new environment transitioning. So what's the thing and the very important part is I get in front of this door before I let him in. I want to project, just like front door etiquette, that I'm controlling the narrative on what's about to happen. So once he gives me his attention, I'm going to ask him for sit. Good boy. And I'm going to say wait. And I'm going to crack the door. Once I crack the door and we're going to go in, I'm going to allow him a couple seconds of decompression at this door to kind of look, listen, and smell before we actually start the perimeter walk, which is me taking him on a leashed tour of the property. Wait. It's very important that I come into the house before Bodie, so it's very clear at the start and very clear at the finish from being at the cottage. Will you focus? Boy. Okay. Come on in. Now, if we already see he's a little suspicious, most dogs would have bolted right in here. But again, Bodie doesn't give trust for free, right? He's very selective. So it's important that I let this happen organically and I'm not putting any tension on this leash. So to coax him a little bit, I'm going to throw a treat on the floor to see if I can convince him to come in on his own. But again, I don't want to put any pressure on this. I want him to feel like, you know, he's doing this on his own and he's controlling the narrative. And furthermore, because the leash is in my hand and it's safety, I'm not going to close that door right away. Often, if I close this door, I'm going to create a negative disposition that he has no other cards to play if he wanted to run back to his pet parent, which is outside. So it's important that I kind of let him do things on his own. I'm not saying sit, I'm not saying down, I'm not saying focus, I'm not saying anything once he's in here. When he's finished conducting himself, meaning he's looking, he's listening, and he's smelling everything in this house, in this particular area, and he's ready to move on, he will most likely give me his attention. So as soon as he starts to look at my face as if to say, hello, what are we doing, Pam? That's when I would give him permission off the mat to say, okay, let's peruse. Let's go for a leash tour wherever you want. Do you see his behavior right now? Do you see how prompted he is? I'm like, okay, Pam, what do we do now? Hi, handsome, good focus. Hey, good focus, buddy. Okay. And now we can let him go wherever he wants. So what's important here is I want him to decide where he wants to go. Obviously, because this is a new environment, I don't want him to go behind any doors. So I'm closing the bathroom doors, I'm closing the bedroom doors, I'm closing the basement doors. So he just has this one main level, as this is a bungalow. So he's only got the length of this house. And if you watch, look how much how much energy he's draining just from the sniffing, from looking, from listening. So this already is enriching, even though we actually haven't gone anywhere. So that stretching of the legs is his insecurity. Again, like, it's not that he doesn't give trust, he just doesn't give it for free. He's a very selective guy. So I don't want to prompt him into going anywhere. I kind of want him to decide for himself, because once we do a perimeter where we've hit every mark of this house and eventually we end up back at that mat where we started, just like at the car, you see this disposition happen, all of a sudden it's like, well, look at me, I know where I am. And then you get the true nature of Bodie. You get him actually being himself. But right now, he's not necessarily, hi, handsome, do you want some direction? Let's walk together, come on. Right now, he's not quite sure what he's supposed to do, so he's looking at me for guidance. So if he gives me eye contact, which is essentially looking for direction, then I will tell him where I think that we should walk. But if he's still sniffing and looking and listening and he's not paying attention to me, I'm going to let it be, because essentially, when dogs are filtering their environment, it's almost like reading. Like when he's filtering sight, sound, and smell, it's like reading for him. So when he's doing this, I don't want to stifle. I kind of just want to let him do his thing. Come on, bud. We're going to go down this way. Come on. Good boy. And I'm making sure that there's no tension on the leash. I don't want any of these behavior to be prompted. Yeah, you don't want to go that way. You don't have to. Boy. You want to go check it over here? Let's go check it out. Come on. Yeah, you smelled that there's a dog here, but he's not here right now, so you're a little nervous, it looks like. So I would be really concerned if Bodie wasn't using his nose at all. If we were in this house right now and his eyes are bugging out of his head and he's spanning back and forth, but his nose is not working, I'm going to be a lot more concerned, because the fact that we're using his nose right now to smell Bandit's crate means he has to be in critical thinking. There's no version that a dog is in a critical thinking state of mind without using their senses. So if he was blocked from using his senses, meaning he's not using his nose, good boy, then I would be more concerned that he is out of sorts. He's way too far into his emotions. He's dysregulated. So this is not necessarily a learning or conducive learning environment for him. But the fact that he's actually sniffing is really good. Done? Are we done? We could be done. Yeah? Okay, let's go. Let's go back to where we started, to the front, to the door. Come on. So, essentially, just like any other activity, we want to be clear about the end of the activity and the beginning of this activity. So, our clear and concise behaviors and formulas were sit, wait, I come into the house first, and then I invite him. We're going to do exactly the same thing going out. What a good boy. Sit. Good boy. Wait. I'm going to step out first, and then I'm going to invite him. Okay? By using the tactics in new environment transitioning, which is taking the dog on a perimeter walk of the household, and once the dog feels comfortable in the household, taking them on a perimeter walk in the household and at their pace, is a way for the dog to have a little bit more of an idea of what their environment entails, which automatically makes a dog feel more comfortable. If a dog has a basis of their environment before we sit down to have dinner, before we let the dogs play, before there's a kid party, it automatically makes this dog feel more comfortable in their own skin, and they're able to have a lot more tolerance, and anything that gets thrown at them is in this uncontrolled environment. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Follow along for more simple and effective dog training content.